What inspired Kappa to embark on this particular research into the sugar-sweetened beverages industry marketing strategies? Was there a defining moment or trend that prompted this focus?
Yes, thank you very much. We noted recently that there is a 30% increase in the prevalence of non-communicable diseases, and the contributing factor have been SSB, that's sugar-sweetened beverages, ultra-processed foods that are high in sugar, high in sodium and salt, and this leads to obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. And we took cognizance of the fact that we don't have a localized data. Most of reports we do, we get maybe data from Chile, Peru, South Africa, Ghana, and when we come for advocacy, because our industry monitoring ties to our advocacy plan, and when we advocate with policymakers to make recommendation, they ask about what about local data from Nigeria, and we find it very pertinent that we have to go gather this data using our healthy food policy vanguard volunteers that are dedicated towards promoting healthy food policies in Nigeria. And we found it worthy to use them to gather this data in 7 states. As we say, these are just an initial preliminary data, and it's just like there's a need for scalability. But what we found in this report is that the food industry, the big corporations, are mischievously, in a manipulative manner, pushing out narratives, that only pushes towards profit actualization, and not in any way trying to push out or enlighten the consumers about excessive consumption of the additives they put in these foods or the high level of sugar consumption. Most SSB, those sugar products, are high. They have like 14 cubes of sugar in most of them. Just imagine consuming like 3, 4 of them daily, and it's being marketed as healthy alternatives. So that's the mindset to create in a consumer, and that is more detrimental to them because they don't have the informed choice when they go to process, because what they see is healthy written on the product, not noting that it's high on these additives and sugar.
Right. Let me now ask her, how do these marketing strategy impact vulnerable population, especially children, adolescents, and low-income communities in the selected states that you've chosen?
Yeah, thank you very much. In the selected states, in the 7 states, what we notice is that the children are vulnerable, they are not enlightened, and it's like from cradle. So the initiative is to market to them at this early stage, create that mindset in them to consume this product, and it's on a trend. Now, what have allowed them to do this is that there are no strict regulations are marketing around schools, around playgrounds, around event center, using kids also or using animation to push out products. So we found that there is no strict regulation, which is a policy gap that we noted. And this also speaks to one of the recommendations we have in that report. And aside that, parents are not also duly informed about how kids are now having rise in obesity. There's a high rise in obesity, as even noted by the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, that kids are now getting obese, which is now a detrimental problem to the well-being of any child or any kid. And we have seen that the social media spaces have now been using influencers and celebrities to market these products to kids, which is one of the key findings we find. And in our industry, this is an offline report. We also do online reports. So you notice this research today that we are unveiling is an offline. But we have used online to engage policymakers in our own strength as a civil society that is pushing out healthy food policy projects. So we are taking cognizance of the fact that they are marketing these products to kids because that's the cradle stage of catching them young. Because when you get old, by research, you tend to reduce the consumption of these products. But when you have that mindset from, let's say, 4 years to maybe 18 years heading forward, youths and teens are more of what the food corporations target more in their manipulative activities of pushing out these themes in their products marketing.
You not actually, I crave your indulgence. We would like you to speak on the impact it is actually having beyond just this obesity concerns. Are there other impacts that have been seen in the course of this year research? Sir?
Yes, there is an impact to it. One of the impacts we found that is that these products are marketed to them
Yes, sir.
as not just for obesity, as improving their intellectual capacity.
Okay.
Let's take, for instance, the new trend now, it might interest you, is the use of spelling bees. The use of spelling bees to market products is pushing it at products that are marketed like that will improve their kids' intellectual capacity. It's worrisome to us because we know that that is not the key issue. The key issue is this: There is no way you drink a sugar-sweetened beverages that will translate
So
to
increase.
intellectual capacity. Intellectual capacity is in two ways. Either you get it through gene related or you get it through building your capacity intellectually. Those are the two ways of getting it. You can consume a product made by a food corporation high in sodium, high in salt, high in sugar, and it translates to intellectual
Intellectual
capacity.
capacity. So let's also look at the regulatory bodies. How have they fared, especially with regards to this, especially with regards to responding to the aggressive tactics of the SSB industry, sir?
Yes, thank you very much. Just last month, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare launched the sodium reduction guideline. It's a key pathway to reduce it because now there is a high rate of hypertension. It's generally well-known knowledge that people are slumming, dying regularly in Nigeria. The prevalence is now high. So the Federal Ministry of Health, due to those findings, not even from us, which they have also noted as a national concern, now charted a way to reduce sodium in products in a 3 years phase. So these food industries are now mandated to reformulate their products, reduce the sodium and salt content in them to reduce hypertension. It's a key win for us. We know that though it's 30% reduction, but it's also a win on the right step to what we want to achieve. Now another is that we are looking at the marketing toolkit. That is a regulatory function of the National Food Drug Agency, that's NAFDAC. They are solely, by constitution, required to regulate what you market toolkit. And there's a draft regulation in the works for that. So they are making that progress. But we are worried about the fact that indoctrinating these kids through that process is an ongoing process. So we can't just sit back and wait while regulations are being promoted, which we know that doing that. We also have our role to advocate, to push, so that the general public also can know that this is a dangerous pathway. Lastly, we recognize that policy is the key way to behavioral change. We note that. So that's why we also offer our support. Just like we are launching this report today, it's an advocacy tool to the regulatory agencies to promote and push faster this process of regulating products being marketed to kids or product being marketed to young Nigerians.
Finally, sir, uh, are there plans to expand this research to include other states or to monitor online marketing activities of the SSB? And will there be follow-up actions at the legislative or grassroots level, sir?
Yes, we take note of, just like I said, there can be scalability in the process. We take cognizance of that. But it's bound to resources and funding. But we believe that outcome of this shape further conversations of how to scale it across region. It's just 7 states. It doesn't have really a regional grab. It doesn't have a regional grab. But we take cognizance of the fact that we can, in our own way, look at scaling it when we talk to partners or development partners around it. It's a win for us because it's an inaugural initiative. We have now a localized data around marketing of food products, as sugar-sweetened beverages and salt high products and seasoning cubes. Now we have it in our coffers. We can now look at it and see how we can broaden the spectrum. If there are gaps in it, we can also strengthen it because it's a working process. It's a continuum.
Thank you so much, Mr. Humphrey.